Hello, I'm Citrus, and you're looking at the super high complete model progressive RX-78-2 Gundam. This is sort of a spiritual successor of sorts to our current Metal Robot Tamashi series, being a 1/144 scale, high-end premium action figure line. Just for size comparison, here's the Revive Gundam, and you can see that they're about the same size, pretty close. But because of the stockier proportions, this one looks much chunkier and a little bit shorter. Now there are quite a few things to talk about with this, the least of which actually are the number of accessories, which you get this giant rack to hold. But before we get to all this, let's take a closer look at this guy. As I spin it around here, you can see that the decal layout is pretty dense, but doesn't really borrow from any style that we are familiar with. There's plenty of surface detail, but the kit does not come lined, so I went ahead and put in just a little bit of gray on the white so you can see it a bit better on camera. Every single SHCM Pro figure comes with a gimmick, and this one's gimmick is open hatch, kind of like the perfect grade. On the left side of the figure, I have all the open panels popped up, such as the head bits, chest and cockpit, shoulder, forearm, front pocket, front knee. You can see pistons in the ankle there. And around the back, you can see some stuff in the calf and in the backpack. Rear thrusters are metal, as are the elbows, which can do a full bend. We have articulated fingers, trigger 3 thumb, die-cast knees with a sliding thigh panel, and some heavy die-cast feet with good mobility side to side. Here is our core fighter. As you can see, it has an opening cockpit and silver landing gear. Cool thing is that the transformation can be done without removing any parts. Landing gear just fold away. And there we go. Here's the core fighter compared to the core block, colored basically identically. The only difference is that this obviously doesn't transform and it has the additional waist joint. I think Gundam hammers are usually the most difficult accessory to use effectively, but I think it's a lot easier at the smaller scale. You can go double bazooka in the hands or in the back while dual wielding something else. Of course, we can't forget classics like the beam javelin and the shield rifle combo. So here's the pedestal with all the accessories on it. Makes for a pretty cool display. You can put the effect part for the beam javelin back there. The beam saber effect parts are underneath. And basically nothing has to really go back into the box. The only sort of useless accessory is the super napalm, which can't really attach to the beam rifle at all, and the instructions just tells you to put the two parts together and nothing else, really. With that aside, put your Gundam on it, and the core fighter, and you have a pretty cool display. With tons of accessories, articulation, and mechanical detail, this figure has a lot going for it, but also has several problems. The first of which is the fragility. A lot of the pieces will only move in very specific ways, and if you try to move them anything other than how they're designed to, they will fall off. Particularly problematic are the fingers, which are not very solidly held in their sockets. Another problem is quality control. On my figure, there are a couple of places where paint has smudged or the decals were printed on misaligned. I've seen other examples of this figure with misshapen V-fins, misshapen weapons, and so on. Unless you're buying one of these in person, it's really hard to know whether or not you're going to get a good figure. The last problem is the price. When this figure came out in 2007, it retailed for 6,800 yen, which is pretty steep for a 1/144th scale action figure, especially considering how at the time you could have paid maybe 1,500 yen more and bought yourself a metal composite Gundam Verka, which is 1/100 scale. As a consequence, not a lot of people bought these at the time, and that means today on the secondary market, these are pretty scarce figures. A quick look on eBay shows that these things are trading hands at about $120, which is about as much as a metal composite Gundam Origin today. This was definitely an advanced figure for its time, but after 10 years, it really shows its age. Playing with this isn't quite like playing with a modern action figure like a robot Damashi. You don't have the solid feel in your hands, and even though this figure does have a lot of accessories and mechanical details, you can find the same features in other kits and action figures today. So that's all for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.